Alicia, wow. Oh my God. Okay, I don't know. Did that bring tears to anybody's eyes? Okay. Happy Mother's Day. A mother's love, so infinitely tender, so unfailing, is God's love, only manifested in greater degree by the mother. And so right now, before I really get into my talk, I'd like to acknowledge my mother, who will be 92 in August. Now, my mom has dementia, so she doesn't even know it's me when I do visit her. And she's in Orange County near my sister. We have her in a facility because we can't take care of her the way she deserves, but she's in a fabulous place. But I just want to talk a little bit about her. And I also want to acknowledge my business partner's mom, Eleanor. She was wonderful. When I first came to the desert, I lived with I lived with her family, her mom and dad for a little bit, and then I moved in with Donna and her husband at the time, and I remember her mom would call every night, like 5 o'clock at dinner, and I'd go, geez, because my mother wasn't like that. But my mom, let me tell you about my mom. So my mom came from the Philippines to the United States. And my mom, I remember being 5 or 6 years old and crawling in bed with her one morning and hugging her and saying, Mommy, I never want to leave you. I'm never going to leave you. I love you so much. And I remember my mom, kind of petting me and said, sweetheart, trust me, you'll want to leave eventually. And I just couldn't believe that, she was right. But I always thought of my mom as Mom, the master of miracles. She, if I had a boo-boo, she'd kiss it and it would feel better. And just those loving things with my mom. And so, and yet I just didn't want to have kids. I didn't want to, because I noticed that usually after people had children, they got divorced. And I thought, I don't want to do that. So here's my talk today. There are no mistakes. And so I'm really happy that my business partner and her husband are here, because Donna and I had started we had known each other in San Diego as court reporters when we were going through court reporting school. And then Donna's from the desert. She basically grew up here most of her life. J&E Autos, as if you know, in Palm Desert, that was her parents started that. Years ago. Yeah, just beautiful, both of them, Jerry and Eleanor, so wonderful. But anyway, Donna and I had been in our business just like a year or so, maybe 2 years, I think. And Donna lived across the street from me, and she came over one day, and she was so excited, and she said, I've got some news. I'm pregnant. And I go, what? She goes, I'm pregnant. And I go, are you crazy? I said, we had just moved from a small office into a big office, and we were just really getting going. And I said, oh my God, what are you thinking? We've got this business, and and you're going to have a baby. I mean, here she's trying to share the best news of her life with me, and I just walked all over it. I'd use another word, but, you get the idea. So anyway, so she goes home, and I'm just like, oh, my God, that's a ridiculous thing. Well, 3 weeks later, I'm in Palm Springs. Those of you maybe have been here, there was a place there called the Red Garter, and I was trying on workout clothes. And I was in there pulling up the leotard, and I noticed, this is not very nice, but my breasts were really big. And I'm like... And I remember going home to my husband and saying, Bill, I said, I'm either dying or I'm pregnant. I don't know which one I want. But anyway, so we talked about it, and I decided that, well, if I'm pregnant, we're going to keep it. I said, what are you going to do? I said, everybody says it's wonderful. I said, well, what are they going to say? They're stuck with them for 18 years. truly, this is the conversation that I had. And so anyway, I go to the doctor, and he knew I didn't want kids, but and at that time they had just started the self-test. I thought, I'm not taking any chances. I want to know. So he went out of the room and came back, and I go, well, did I kill the rabbit? And he goes, yeah. And I go, oh. He said, well, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to keep it. Oh, he was so happy. And so anyway, I won't go into all the details about when I told, well, I'll tell a little bit. So after I found out, I go and I thought, okay, now I've got to get in the mindset that I'm going to have a child. And so I go and look at maternity clothes and stuff, and I walk in my office, and they just happened to be at the entranceway. Donna was there and another couple of our employees, and Donna said, what's wrong? Are you okay? And I go, okay, I'm just going to say this once. I'm pregnant. And Donna goes, what? And I go, I know, I'm pregnant. She goes, how did that happen? And I go, how do you think it happened? Anyway, so our boys are 3 weeks apart in age. Donna's and Ryan and Chad are 3 weeks apart. And so that's why I want to say there are no mistakes. Because let me tell you, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have had any children. And I'm happy that my husband and I talked it out and decided we would keep him, or keep it at that time. And in fact, Donna, we both have boys. Donna's son, my son Corey, was born a few years before Cody. I don't know how much older Corey is, but anyway. And Donna wanted a girl. She said, oh, I'm going to have a girl. She was out buying little girls' clothes. She had the ultrasound twice because she wanted to make sure it was a girl. I mean, she was like, and I said, you're not going to have a girl. You know, I'm such a positive person. Haven't you noticed? And I said, you're not going to have a girl. I said, you're going to have a boy. We do everything in tandem, okay? She bought the same model house across the street from me. I mean, you know, and sure enough, she had Cody. And it was wonderful because our kids played together, lived in the same neighborhood. It was wonderful. But here's where my life really changed, is the moment, I'm going to probably cry. The moment that they put Ryan in my arms, here's this little creature that I don't know, I've never met, but I loved him so much at that moment. And what came to my mind, I said, if I ever write a book, this will be the title of it, is I sat there and I held him, and I said, thank you, God, for being smarter than me. And I realized that if I love this deeply and feel this such a deep level, and I've never met, I said, how much could this God love us? So that's why I say there are no mistakes. You can look at your life, and you could, you know, and some of you may not have had a great mother, and maybe it was difficult being a mother. I remember telling my boys when they were little, I said, look, you guys didn't come with a manual. And I said, I'm not going to do everything right. I'm going to make mistakes. I said, but I want you to always know that I love you. And I never, never, never leave a conversation or leave them or them leave me without saying, I love you, because we never know when this last moment might be that we're together. So there are no mistakes. All that really counts is what's happening within you. How are you reacting to the experience? Where is your faith? Thus, if you will, the tragedy can become a blessing. The disadvantage can become the advantage. The failure can become an opportunity, and the disappointment can become God's appointment. So to me, what that means is, okay, there's not anyone here, I'm sure, that hasn't had some pain, some disappointment, something. I remember when when Ryan was born, my mom said, wouldn't it have been awful if you never would have had a baby? And I go, I wouldn't have known the difference. Yes, now, yes. But before I had him, I wouldn't have known what I was missing. Thank God. God's smarter than me. Thank you. So, things happen in our life. I had a phone call about somebody was on the phone that was him and his wife. She wanted to leave him and wanted a divorce. And he was really upset. And I said, well, maybe, I should go to counseling. Or, no, she doesn't want to do any of this. And I said, I know you're in a lot of pain right now, and this is horrible. But from things that happen, we can learn. And I said, and trust me, down the road, maybe 4 or 5 years, a year, you're going to look back and you're going to go, thank you, God. But for this, I wouldn't have this. It's like somebody said, what would you do different in your life? Because we've all had mistakes. We've all done things that we go, oh, what was I thinking? But you either get bitter from it or you learn from it. What was the message? What can you do to make it better? My philosophy is that not only are you responsible for your life, but you're doing the best at this moment, put you in the best place for the next moment. Okay, so how are you handling this? Are you going to be bitter? Or are you going to, pick yourself up off the ground, dust yourself off, and say, what is mine to know here? Because truly, you are creating your life. The good, the bad, the ugly. There may be things that show up in your life that you weren't expecting. But it's an opportunity for you to go within and to realize there's more than this, and learn from it and move forward. Reverend Dale talked last week about her favorite show, Captain Sandy. And I go, Captain Sandy? What about Ted Lasso? Now, I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but I never miss Ted Lasso. How many of you have seen Ted Lasso? Oh, you guys, you got to go on Apple TV and watch this show. This show is so wonderful, so absolutely wonderful. And so and just so positive. So here, for those of you who don't know, he was a college football coach in the United States, and he went to be a football coach in England, which is soccer. Okay? And he knows nothing about soccer. And yet he brings this heart to this team that's just amazing. So I want to share with you 10 Ted Lasso leadership lessons. And I think that these should not be just leadership lessons. I think these should be life lessons for all of us, okay? Believe in yourself. And some of us may have had parents that really just, really kept us down and maybe made us feel insecure, or things about our life that were insecure, or we didn't think we were good enough, or we weren't pretty enough, we weren't handsome enough, we weren't smart enough. Believe in yourself. I think that's a good one. Doing the right thing is never the wrong thing. What in your life is the right thing for you? Only you know that. And so live by that. Don't let anybody deter you from doing what's the right thing. But what's the right thing for you? Not what the right thing is for him or her, your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister, your spouse. What is the right thing for you? But do it from a place of love. And all people are different people, right? We can't say, oh, because you believe this way or you vote that way or whatever. Everybody is entitled to their opinion. And so we honor that. We honor where you all are because it's our diversity. is what makes us strong, is what makes us come together, what makes us even more powerful. But we have to do it from a place of respect and a place from love and an open heart to listen to what the other person thinks. Then you can go to your friend and go, oh my God, did you hear what? No, I'm just kidding, but I do that. See good in others. Always, aren't these beautiful, that's the thing about Ted Lasso. I'll tell you how I think the season's going to end, but we'll see. Anyway, see the good in others because everybody has something good in them. Okay, everybody, you can find something. Sometimes it's harder than others to search for, but everybody has some good. Okay, and they're here for a divine reason. Remember that. Remember I talked about ash holies a while ago? That even ash holies are part of God. And so they're there for a reason, and our job is to love them and to find out what that reason is. All right, and then forgive first. Forgive people. What did Jesus say on the cross? Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. There are times when we forgive me, for I know not what I do in this moment. Tell the truth. Be who you are. Be authentic. Be honest. That's why I call myself the irreverent reverend, because I am not holier than thou. Just ask the office staff. And winning is an attitude. It doesn't matter. I remember when in my junior year, we were doing cheerleading tryouts. We'd already decided I was going to be the head cheerleader, or head of the pep squad, which was the cheerleaders and the the dancers and stuff. And because I was friends with both sides, and they weren't worried that I would take favoritism over the cheerleaders or whatever. And I lost by like 5 votes. And they wanted to do a recount. Does that sound familiar? They wanted to do a recount. And I said, no. I said, I lost, and I accept that. And yet that was the best thing, even though it was painful and disappointing. I realized that there was a reason, and it was a good reason. My dad lost his job a few months after my senior year started, and I was working. I had gotten a job, which I wouldn't have if I would have been a cheerleader. I wouldn't have had time. And I was able to help the family through that time. And then I met my husband. I wouldn't have the fabulous 2 sons that I have, but for that. So optimists do more. You ever notice that? Those are like, looks like rain, like Eeyore. It's the ones that are optimists. Oh, no, we can do that. We can do this. We can do that. These people like Lee and Jan, they had a great fundraiser for us yesterday. And we can do that. And they did it. It was wonderful. And then we got Fran and Brenda and everybody that's helping with the Patrice Morris fundraiser that we have. They're optimists. No, we can do this. We can get this. And so there's an energy about being an optimist too. And stay teachable. There's always more that we can learn. There's always, don't think you know it all and this is the end of it. We're always learning. For those of you that are new, we'll be having classes. Reverend Dale has got a class starting up. And it's about everything we teach here is to empower you to be the best version of yourself. And happiness is a choice. Okay, are those great? Happiness is a choice. You can focus on the negative that's happening in your life, or you can look at what is positive. Look at the joys that I have in my life. Don't let that umbrella, that negativity be the focus of your life. Every day is a gift. And just, every day, every moment, none of us are guaranteed the rest of this day. So get up and just be grateful every day. Those are Ted Lasso things. And forget the mistake and remember the lesson. I think that is so important. That was a terrible thing that happened. It was painful and not, don't deny that. But what was the nugget that I got out of it? Now I know I'm not going to do that again, or hopefully. But then there are those people, if you don't look at what the good thing is, You know those people that keep making the same mistake over and over again? Someday they'll get it right. They'll get it right. And so, one day at a time, this is enough. Do not look back and grieve over the past, for it is gone. And do not be troubled about the future, for it has not yet come. Live in the present and make it so beautiful that it will be worth remembering. That's the code we should be living by. And there are no mistakes. Okay, as I said, when they put him in my arms, I just thought, if I love him so much, how much can God love me? And the other thing that really, that's kind of when my Catholicism ended, because I thought, if I love this child this much and God loves me even more, how would I ever condemn somebody for making a mistake to burn in hell for eternity? It'd be like me dangling candy in front of my kids and say, don't eat this. And then I put it away and then they go eat it. There are temptations in life. There are mistakes that we make. But just know, and the same thing with people that have hurt you. You can let them go, but love them on their journey. Love them on their journey knowing that everything is good. Because, like I said, there are no mistakes. Those are my 2 mistakes. The best mistakes I ever made. Thank you very much. Namaste. Thank you, Dr. Laura.